Welcome back to UnKind TV. I'm Martha, and tonight I will be discussing The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 12, Episode 20, No Party Like a Mob Party. The first order of business is, by now I'm sure you've all heard that Dorinda has been fired from The Real Housewives of New York City. I don't know how I feel about this. She has not been enjoyable to watch for some time because she's obviously been in some kind of downward spiral. I don't know what it is. I think a combination of alcoholism, personal conflicts that perhaps we don't know about. I don't know if I'm ready to let go of Dorinda. I think Dorinda has been a wonderful addition to the cast, and I wish that maybe the powers that be at Bravo could sit down with her and persuade her to seek some kind of real help, have an intervention with her. There are also reports, though, that Bravo is second-guessing this decision, so there's hope yet. I don't want Dorinda back if it's going to be this very nasty version of her where she's constantly slurring and going from 0 to 60 and saying cruel, vindictive things. That's the side of her I don't like. I miss the clip Dorinda. I miss the I made it nice Dorinda. Can't we bring back the I made it nice Dorinda? Let me know in the comments what you think of Dorinda's firing. If she really doesn't come back, it's the end of an era. Leah is having a party to celebrate 15 years of her brand. We open with Ramona getting ready for this party. She's using Coco, her dog, as her stylist. I am shocked but happy that Coco is still alive. I don't know how Coco has managed to survive all this time with Ramona in charge, but Avery turned out all right. Next, we see Sonia talking to her intern about how she's keeping her dead flowers because if you look at them from a distance, they don't really look dead. They just look like a dried flower arrangement. I wonder if Sonia employed the same strategy in coping with her ancient ex-husband. He doesn't really look dead if you stare at him from far away. Then we see Dorinda call Luann to remind her about her upcoming birthday party at the Russian Samba Bar. Bring your birthday voice. Dorinda reminding Luann to bring her birthday voice is a decision she will come to regret. Luann meets Ramona for lunch and they start talking about how unsettled they both are by Dorinda's behavior, how they don't feel like they really smoothed anything over in Mexico. And Ramona feels that Luann didn't do enough to back her up in her quest to open Dorinda's eyes to her anger management problem. Luann says, I did talk to her. Okay, but Luann, did you tell her that she's scary and if she blows up and it's horrifying? Did you tell her that? I told her she has no warmth, no love, no nothing. In fairness to Dorinda, I can see how being approached in this manner might cause someone to shut you down with sarcasm. You're horrifying, you scare all of us, you have no warmth, you have no love, you have no nothing. Excellent communication, ladies. I just don't know how to figure this one out. Luann mentions, oh, by the way, Leah invited Elyse to the party. Ramona runs off to use the bathroom. She does not want to get into Elyse. And Luann asks, what happened? And I have to tell you, perhaps you can let me know in the comments, am I missing something? I don't know what went wrong with Elyse and Ramona that it's this hostile, that Ramona's running away from the table. And we'll see later in the episode just how bad their falling out has been. And I feel like there's something we're not getting, some missing piece of this story. Luann continues trying to pry, and Ramona says, in a classic case of projection, I think she's not a girl's girl. I think she's manipulative. I think she's a friend jumper. She disgusts me. She disgusts you, and she's a friend jumper. Now who does that sound like? Now we're at Leah's party, and Leah is very worried about what's going to happen because her party is downtown, and downtown is a dirty word to the ladies of the Upper East Side. Leah knows that Ramona, Dorinda, Sonia, Luann are very used to the Upper East Side, and her friend group is younger and a little more hip and a little more diverse. I feel that Leah's apprehension over this perfectly captures the problem that Bravo is facing over diversity. There have been a lot of calls to add more diversity to all the shows, and New York in particular has come under the microscope because everybody knows New York City is an incredibly diverse place, and it's shameful that we're 12 seasons in and we're still looking at the same group of people here. But the old RHONY clique is so set in their ways that it would be incredibly problematic. I was talking to my friend Marissa about this issue and how throwing someone like Ramona Singer into a new group would be sort of like Jurassic Park. She has existed in a completely different era, a completely different world with another atmosphere, and she just wouldn't know what to do, and she would run around destroying the place and eating things. It would be an experiment in what is the Ramonosaurus going to do? And I think it's a risk that Bravo is not willing to take. And I am of the thought that perhaps the only real way to truly tackle this would be to get rid of everybody. Maybe you could come up with an all-star cast for a separate show. That would be a lot of fun, actually. Come up with an OG all-star cast for a completely different show and bring in completely fresh faces for a new season. I really don't know how else it could work, but you let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas or suggestions on how Bravo could get with the times. Leah is proven to be right in her fears because Dorinda shows up and Dorinda's commenting on the attire. This is a party for a streetwear brand, and all she can do is complain about how people are in sweats and t-shirts and she's dressed up. She even calls herself Karen from HR, and it's like, Dorinda, you are being such a Karen in more ways than you really want to be. What is this hip-hop dungeon? I get it. You're used to dressing up when you go out. I am one of those people. Even when I'm dressed down, I look like I'm dressed up, but I don't look down on people and judge people who have different style than I do. Dorinda's behavior is very inappropriate. Luann shows up also a little bit overdressed, but Luann has slightly better perspective on the situation. She realizes, yes, this is a party celebrating Leah's streetwear brand, and that's what people are wearing at the party for the brand. Sonia walks in and just starts throwing herself at all the boys. They are very young, and she's very funny. She sits down, she goes, I'm an uptown bitch. And then she looks at one of them and she goes, you look at me and you see grandma? The guy goes, mm-hmm. She cackles. That's why I love Sonia. As delusional and insane as Sonia can be sometimes, she's also often the most self-aware. I'm an uptown bitch, and you see me and you see a grandma. Ramona comes and makes a beeline for Leah's mother. Instead of meeting Bunny and being helpful, knowing that Leah has had issues with her mom, she could have said something neutral but favorable to Leah that's also flattering to her mom. Like, if I were Ramona, I would say something like, it's lovely to meet you. You made a wonderful daughter. It has been an absolute pleasure getting to know her as part of the friend group, as part of the show. It's remarkable what she has accomplished at such a young age. She's a great mom to her daughter, that kind of thing. But instead, Ramona decides to throw gasoline all over the tension between Leah and her mom. I actually said to her, we want to see better from you. We expect better. We don't like the way you're behaving. And actually, I told her that what are you doing texting your mom? You have to get your ass over there. Go talk to your mom. Thank you, Ramona. You are such a lovely individual. And then Ramona completely blows off poor Elyse. Elyse has been standing there, visibly nervous. And she says to Ramona, are you going to act like I'm not even here? And Ramona goes, I don't know who you are. That was cold, Ramona. Elyse even tries to grab Ramona by the arm, and I didn't take it as an aggressive move at all. I took it as kind of desperation, like, talk to me. I'm your friend. Ramona just doesn't care. I want to know what happened that Ramona is this mean to her. And then Elyse looks at Leah, and Leah tells her, because Ramona has taken off, and Leah tells her, go, go, go. Like, let's make a scene. Go get her. And Elyse does get her. And Ramona's making her smug faces and rolling her eyes. And Elyse says to Ramona everything that we have always wanted to say. You are a duplicitous, nefarious, narcissistic, superficial bitch. This is great. It's like the insulting version of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I'm going to have to use this on somebody one day. You are a duplicitous, nefarious, narcissistic, superficial bitch. Elyse, I think you created a good GIF moment for yourself. That'll be used on Twitter. And Ramona just storms out of the party as quickly as she came in. Little Tasmanian devil. Like, you're sick and evil. You're sick and evil. Guys, somebody fill me in. What happened? For Elyse to let out that vitriolic string of insults, for Ramona to be so icy, there's got to be more to this story. We see Ramona walk off into the night toward the West Side Highway, off to another party, as Leah points out, where she probably wanted to be anyway. She's just walking off going, I don't care. I don't even care. Elyse is very upset inside, and she's trying to talk to the ladies about her feelings. And she says, I had her back. I had her back. And Dorinda's like, I told you had Sherlock Holmes syndrome at Stockton syndrome, says Stockholm syndrome. The party ends on a lovely note. Leah thanks everybody. She thanks Rob. She thanks her sister. Then her mother makes a speech, which is very validating to Leah. Now it is the next day, and Luann is waiting to meet with her ghostwriter. She's working on a book because, we haven't heard Luann talk about herself enough. She FaceTimes with Ramona and she says, what happened with you and Elyse? And Ramona's being vague and it's driving me crazy. Actually, she was very negative. I just don't want negative people in my life. Okay, sorry, it's just too negative for me. I'm surrounded by white light, positive people. Namaste. And then Luann's ghostwriter, Cheryl, shows up and they're having this conversation where they're beginning to get into Luann's past, and Luann realizes that Ramona never hung up the FaceTime call. I don't understand why Luann is not able to hang up the call. She's just trying to talk Ramona through how to end the call. It's very strange. Maybe they use some special software for when they're capturing these video calls for Bravo, but she has to tell Ramona, power down the phone, power down the phone. I knew she didn't hang up. Luann and Cheryl get into her childhood and she's like, so many people think I'm privileged, but I'm not. Cheryl goes, I was shocked to read how, yes, you were made fun of for being chubby and tall, and you tried to saw the high heels off your shoes, and you shopped at Payless. Well, 7 kids, we all wore polyester. I love how Luann pulled what everyone in my college classes used to pull, where she didn't read the manuscript that this poor lady's been working on. Luann has given her pretty much nothing to work with, I'm sure. Just drivel. Me. Daddy was an alcoholic and we had no money and I went to Payless. Cheryl has put something together, some kind of draft, and Luann's like, oh, I've glanced at it, but with all my travel. Oh, yeah, Mr. Jones, I glanced at War and Peace, but, with all that travel. She goes into how she's been through so much. Divorce and being a countess and having cabaret and being in jail and arrested and oh. She talks about how her father had also been arrested for his drinking, how eventually he got sober and AA saved his life. And she starts to cry thinking about him and how much she misses him. And it made me think, why are you drinking again? If you see the parallels between yourself and your father, that you saw yourself in shackles and thought of your father in shackles. He went to AA, you had to go to AA. That doesn't evaporate. I am a sober person. I had to start going to AA when I was 18 because I realized that my drinking was not normal. I was using it to self-medicate, and I don't go to meetings now, but I've chosen to remain sober and use the tools that I gained from going to meetings. For some people, they have to go to meetings for the rest of their lives. It's available if I need it, but I know that it's something that will follow me for the rest of my life. I would not be willing to dip my toe back into that pool when I know that it's just trouble. And it's sad to me that Luann is completely aware of how much she's like her father. She's like, I look so much like him, and doesn't see that she shouldn't be drinking again. I don't think it's going to end well for her. I think Luann's drinking is going to go down a dark path again very quickly, because I actually do think she has a problem. I don't think it was a bad period of time where she just got in trouble because of her divorce with Tom. I think she really does have serious mental problems, but I hope I'm wrong. Next, we see Dorinda talking to her sister Melinda. I love Melinda. I want Dorinda and Melinda to have their own show because they sound so much alike and it cracks me up. And Melinda is like the more sane, sensible version of Dorinda. And they're talking, it's so weird. Dorinda's like, don't you have something to tell me? And then you hear, happy birthday. It's the same voice. Yeah, it's my birthday. And Dorinda's talking about how she's having a party and she wants Melinda to come. Melinda will not be joining. All I could focus on was Dorinda putting on her makeup while she's sitting in bed. It was making me very irrationally nervous because she has this white cover on and she's doing everything. Like she's doing eyeshadow and foundation. You see it all spread out there. And then I remembered, oh right, as she tells Melinda, John's invited, because he'll always have a seat at my table. It's like, yeah, of course he does. Madame Paulette, you don't have to worry about makeup stains on the bed. John Modestian will get it right out. Now we're at Dorinda's party at Russian Samovar. It's actually really nice. You can tell that unlike Ramona, Dorinda invited her real longtime friends. It's a more intimate affair, and she seems genuinely happy. Ramona has a big problem with John being invited to the party. She's like, John's not the one that wanted to break up with Dorinda, and I don't think it's nice that she's sending mixed signals. Because it's like dangling the carrot, like maybe they'll get back together. Not cool, Dorinda. Leah tells us that Ramona apologized for leaving her party. And Leah's like, I don't even care about her apology because she's just the rudest person on the planet. And we get the footage of Ramona's apology where she goes into how thrilling it was to meet Bunny. She was so different from what I expected. I actually thought she would be like a smart person. She's not like that at all. Classic Ramona. So in the middle of the party, Dorinda is showing Sonia how to close apps on her phone because Sonia's phone is dying. And she's like, you have so many apps open. No, you gotta close this. And Luann starts antagonizing her on purpose. She starts alluding to Dorinda's fit in Mexico over everybody being on their devices and kind of egging Dorinda on to make a scene. I don't think that was right. Dorinda was just helping Sonia with something for a moment. Dorinda wasn't sitting there, And she even said, she picked up her purse and said, my phone's off of my back because that's how I handle a dinner party. It's her birthday and she's having a good night. Can we just leave Dorinda alone just for now? Do we have to try and get her to have a drunken rage and destroy Russian Samovar? Ramona starts being really patronizing too, and it's also fully with the intent of making Dorinda angrier, talking down to her, going, you don't have to get loud. Dorinda, there's no need to start snapping, okay? Just calm down. Just shh. Shh. Oh. You don't even have to be Dorinda to want to sock it to these ladies for that. Criticizing, nitpicking her for helping Sonia with the phone, then talking to her like she's some kind of caged animal. Don't. I cannot believe I'm on Dorinda's side with this because Dorinda does have an anger problem. But in this one instance, I'm Team Dorinda. John makes a really nice toast to Dorinda. I thought it was quite sweet. I think it's great that they're able to be amicable. Dorinda tells him that he'll always be family. It's very pleasant to watch. I think they do much better as friends than they ever did in a relationship. Now Luann has to make a toast, and her toast involves having a microphone in her hand. Like I said earlier, Luann should not be drinking, and her drunkenness is showing. And it's not pretty. And this is not a little buzzed. She is outright drunk. Hello. Let me all tell you the story of how I met Dorinda. Once upon a time at a bar mitzvah far, far away. Dorinda and I braided each other's hair. We sat up all night like two schoolgirls. We even told each other spooky stories. And ever since that night... Ramona interrupts and tries to stop this. You've said your piece, now sit down. I'm wrapping up if that makes you feel better. She's so drunk. And this is her version of wrapping things up. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dorinda. Dorinda really made me laugh in her talking head. She said Luann pops up all over the place singing Marilyn Monroe Happy Birthday. She's like, Happy Birthday, car wash. Happy Birthday, bar mitzvah. Happy Birthday. That was the old Dorinda. I miss that side of Dorinda. And speaking of happy birthdays, I would be remiss if I didn't mention my very dear friend Jill Informed. I know a lot of you who watch my channel are already subscribed to Jill Informed, but if you are not, check out her channel. She also covers Real Housewives. She is very smart, she is very funny, and most importantly, she is an amazing person. You know how sometimes you wonder if somebody's persona on TV or on YouTube is how they really are? Jill is even sweeter than what you think she is on YouTube. She's everything that I could want in a friend. She is someone who guides me when I need advice. She listens to me with a completely non-judgmental ear. She is a deeply empathetic, loving, witty, charming, incredible person. And the world is so much better for her being in it. So to Jill Informed, the happiest of birthdays to you. I love you, and I look forward to someone getting a hold of our very long text message history and proving, according to Lisa Rinna, that we have an established relationship. Happy birthday, Jill and Form. Jill, you're the best. I hope this next trip around the sun is a little bit better. You deserve nothing but the very best, truly, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I love you, Jill. Happy birthday. The episode ends with Dorinda and John dancing. Hey, John, you and I have danced before. We've danced in the dark, too. Ew, no. Brain bleach, brain bleach. Don't need that. Dorinda, please, let's just stick to the John Modestian and I will always be friends. He has a seat at my table. Let's leave out the sex jokes from now on. Forever, please. I beg of you. And that's it for this episode, everybody. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't. And I really want to know what you think of Dorinda's departure, what you thought of this episode, and anything else you'd like to share. Take care. I will see you soon to discuss the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. Bye.